Welcome to How's Your ePresence? This show is produced by ePresence, and I am Mark Galvin, your host. We are here in the middle of the winter. I'm going to be a little more generic since being too specific isn't good when I'm running this show in July. If you're catching this show on the podcast channel, then. But you know what? There's a lot of great things that are going on right now, especially in the world of economics, and we're dealing with inflation and delivery challenges. Well, what's great about all of that, if you want to say there's the bright, shiny thing to this, is that we're always here to help you, no matter how bad things may be out there. If you're having problems with inflation, if your steak went from $12 last week to $40 this week, well, listen, and that is a problem. I can't help with that. So this is the wrong place to help you with your steak. But here's what we do help you with. We can help you with your digital space. We can help you with marketing. How do you make sure your company gets to a better spot in its marketing space, in its digital marketing space, its website, its SEO? Today, as a matter of fact, we're going to present a guest to you that's going to talk about how organic reach is dead on Facebook, but what do you do about that? So we'll get into ads on Facebook and how do you optimize those? And hopefully, if we have time, we're going to get into sales funnels. So you definitely want to stick around. So thanks for being here. Make sure you check out our YouTube channel. So you can find our YouTube channel, on YouTube. Just search for us by ePresence or How's Your ePresence. And when you get there, subscribe. If you hit that subscribe button, you'll get a notification when we go live, and then you can pop in and send us a question or two. So subscribe to the YouTube channel wherever you are. If you're on Facebook, LinkedIn, or Twitter, just follow us there, and you'll still get a question. You'll still get that notification. If you have a question for our show, just slap it right into the comments box on whatever platform you are on, and we'll be able to serve that up to our guest. So who's the guy that we're bringing on today that's going to be able to talk about organic reach on Facebook? He is Joey Myers, and he is with Lead Generation SEO Services. So he's got a good story. He doesn't come through your typical, say, high-tech traditional background. He played 4 years in baseball at Fresno State from 2000 to 2003. And today, he's a stay-at-home dad. And while he's doing all the stay-at-home stuff, he started his first content-based website in the baseball, softball niche in 2008. And he figured out that he could monetize the page using affiliate links and drop shipping other people's products. So he built an audience and he started helping people connect to his audience. So today he helps businesses get more ideal prospect and clients. He specializes in SEO for lawyers, dentists, small businesses, e-commerce sites, plumbers, roofing, and real estate companies. And by the way, he offers a free, no hassle page SEO site audit. So you definitely want to make sure you stick around to grab his URL so he can take a look and see if your SEO is doing well. Just a reminder, if you have a question, throw it right there in the chat box. We will throw it at Joey and see if we can stump him. And wherever you are, I'd just love for you to say that you're joining us from wherever it is in the world that you're joining us from. Just slap that in the comments and we'll give you a shout out. Well, good. I think that it's good time to find Joey. Let's bring him on and let you guys meet him. Joey, how are you? Welcome.
Mark, thanks for having me on the show. And you made the observation for those that got the same shirt as I got over here in the background. Where is it? Right here. You can see that.
Well,
my cape.
I'm just curious. And folks, I asked him before the show started. I'm like, well, what happens when that shirt wears out? You evidently like it a lot, right? What are you going to do? And he said, well, now he's got a red one. So he has 2 shirts. I don't know what his brand's going to look like when those 2 shirts wear out on him. So I hope
it's like
they're
the
really good
crocodile
quality.
hunter, right? It's like the crocodile hunter.
That's right. That's right. That's your branding. I think that's really cool. I didn't think it's pretty ironic. So nobody else has said that to you. Hey, you got the shirt that's on that you're there in the picture.
That's you, Mark.
So who's in these photos behind you?
So you have the wifey over here. Got to get what the wifey's here.
There we go. Okay. Good.
And you got the kiddos are on this side.
Nice.
There we go. Right over here. There we go. So we got the daughter who this is about a year or 2 older. She's going to be 6 end of March. And then we got the son who just turned 9 in December.
Nice.
Yeah.
Oh, very cool. Well, I love that, and I love that they're right behind you. It shows you what your focus is. I think that's really cool.
Exactly.
So, you do some. You're in the SEO space. You kind of came to this from what I would not call a traditional trajectory. So, what exactly do you do, and why do you do it?
Yeah, good question, Mark. Yeah, School of Hard Knocks. That's kind of where it started from. And again, played the baseball. And then after the baseball is over, trying to wonder what I was going to do. I was a criminology major in college with the law
Oh, wow.
enforcement option. Yeah. So
Okay.
that didn't happen. I ended up catching the entrepreneurial bug, got into real estate, and I was in the mid 2000s. We made some money. We lost some money. Had a little credit thing going on where we were using my credit, which was good with the partner. And then we had a house go to foreclosure, and then there goes my credit for about 8 years.
Oh,
So we had
oh.
some fun bumps and bruises, and spent some money on some really good education.
So mid 2000s sounds like 05,
Yep.
06, and then 08 happens. And
Yep.
so that was the entire real estate crisis. Okay. So timing wasn't perfect, but who knows? Real estate was typically, a sure bet, but I could totally get why you went there.
Right, exactly. So that was, and I was doing many things at the time. I was throwing spaghetti up on the wall, trying to see what would stick. And what ended up sticking was interesting. The site's not up anymore, but for those that understand the Wayback Machine, you can look at any website amongst any timeline, swingsmarter.com. And that was where we're almost returning full circle from that online when it comes to e-commerce, because we started off doing search engine optimization. I was
Yeah.
going through a program called Site Build It, and Site Build It was all about on-page SEO. There was some backlinking stuff on there. And this was, again, at the beginning stages of search engine optimization, where we had white hat operations and we had black hat operations. And the black hat operations were the keyword spamming, and where you'd have a web page and the background was all white. And then you'd have all these words that were keyword spams in the background that were all white. So you couldn't see the
Right.
words, but it
Right.
was tricking the search engines to try and keyword stuff and show up high. Well, Google doesn't like that anymore.
Right.
So that was back then. And like you said, we started with the SEO side of things, with affiliate links, starting to build an email list. And I ended up, just with the SEO model back then, I ended up with about a list of about 3,500 just doing that. And at one point it got a little stale. I would add some and then I would lose some. I'd add some and lose some. And then that led me over to some other conversations we're going to have today, and getting onto Facebook and doing Facebook ads. And that's where really my emails exploded from there. But it all started with search engine optimization online.
Got it. All right. Very cool. You said something I think is interesting that I did not know. There's a website you can go to that'll let you see what websites used to look like.
Used to look like, called Wayback Machine. So
Wayback Machine. I gotta
yeah,
write that.
yeah.
That
Type
sounds
in
like a
Google.
whole thing I could get involved in on a Saturday afternoon.
Exactly. You could look at Amazon when it first got started, and it gives you a big old timeline, and then you can go anywhere on the timeline and look at what it looked like.
So that's really interesting. They are their server must be full of junk. Right?
Can you
Because
imagine?
your website is not sitting on your server anymore. So it has to be sitting there if they
It's taking
archive it.
snapshots. Yeah, it's probably taking little image PNG cached snapshots
Oh, got
every
it.
so often. And yeah.
Oh, I didn't know that was out there. Oh, that's
Yeah.
cool. All right. So good. This is fantastic. You're pretty passionate about this because you saw it work. And
Mhm.
as entrepreneurs, we get pretty jazzed about things that work, don't we?
Right.
Right? Like, oh, that can make money. This is pretty cool. Well, so you and I, when we did our pre-show prep, we were started talking about Facebook, and you said, I thought this was really interesting. You said organic reach on Facebook is dead. How do we know that?
Good question. So I'll tell you when it was really working. So back in 2015, that's when I made the switch from just doing the SEO, gaining an email list there, and I went
Yeah.
on to Facebook. So I got into digitalmarketer.com, Ryan Dice, and digesting a lot of their courses on building an email list and things like that. And so one of them was on advertising on Facebook. So putting an ad up and optimizing the ad, the image, and the description, the title, all that kind of stuff.
Yep.
And at the time, I was really pushing the blog. The blog was myhittingperformancelab.com. I just started that, I think, in 2014. So it was about a year old. And then we started to really push it on social media. So we were putting up organic posts. I was putting up blog posts that I'd written, and, you know, some controversial, some normal how-to type stuff.
Okay.
And I started advertising, and what I was on Facebook, and what I was finding is not only was I getting the emails like crazy. I think that first year we started advertising, where I had a stale list about 3,500, I ballooned it up to about 16,000 in that first
Gosh.
year. I was like
Good.
you said, you entrepreneurs find something that works. You're like, whoa, it worked. So it worked. But it wasn't only the emails that I was collecting that ballooned, but it was also my likes, my people following my page. I had a particular post that caught fire big time. It was at the time pretty controversial. It was about ground balls and different things like that. And that
ground balls are controversial.
Well, see, in the past, a lot of these coaches, and still some coaches now, they used to teach everybody has to hit a ground ball. Hit the ground ball, because their reasoning is that a ground ball takes 3 actions to get somebody out. So the fielder has to field it cleanly, has to throw it cleanly, and the receiver has to catch it cleanly, right? So that's 3 actions. Versus a fly ball, you just have to catch it cleanly, and that's it. So it's 1 action. So there was a lot of coaches back then in 2015 that were teaching all their hitters to hit ground balls. And I'm more of a moderation guy. I'm not a grip it and rip it or hit a ground ball guy. I'm kind of in the middle, and we use the opposite. I know this isn't the place to talk about hitting, but that's what was.
And I do think, and so here's what is important, Joey, which is good, is a little bit of that granular piece understands, okay, how can someone get interest with ground balls versus fly balls? And your audience, your specific audience is interested. And this is something that they can debate. And if they can debate it, they're going to get engaged. And so that's why this is interesting. Absolutely. So keep going.
Right. So yeah, so that article ended up getting like 4,000 plus likes.
Wow.
And I wasn't even advertising that article. I think I boosted it. I maybe was putting $5 a day or something on it. It wasn't that much. I was spending like $100 a day on my email funnel, getting the email and then pushing them through and showing them, pitching them on products and things like that. So I was spending a lot more on the actual funnel itself versus the page, but the page just caught fire, a lot of shares, likes, comments, like the whole thing. And you had pretty healthy debate. You get some coaches that got really, really heated on there, and, you know, we got to block some people.
What you wanted.
We got to, what we want, you know, we got to block some people here and there and that kind of thing.
Right.
But that was huge. And then fast forward the next year, I think we were up to around, we got another 30,000, 40,000 emails. We just did the same wash, rinse, repeat process.
Yep.
And I was noticing that we were still doing pretty well on the ads, on the actual email sales funnel ads, but the organic wasn't growing as fast. It was almost like it was about 2 years. So 2017, 2017, 18, I published in January 2017, published my first book that ended up becoming an Amazon bestseller in the baseball coaching niche. And it took about a year. So January to January, 17 to 18. So that 17, I started to see things start to wane on the organic side of Facebook. And I was wondering why. I put up other controversial posts. They weren't the same magnitude as that one. So I had understood maybe it's just not.
So let me ask you a question, Joey. When you were seeing the organic fall, was it on a company? Was it on a page, a company page, or was it on your personal site? Or what did you notice?
So it was more on the page. It was on the Facebook page, my Hitting Performance Lab page. The organic likes weren't growing as fast. And it was just a post I was put up. I schedule about 5-6 posts a day. I have a virtual assistant that does that for me. And it's just a constant drumbeat. And I just go through and I'll take in my Google Analytics, I'll take my blog posts, the top 100, because I have about 360 plus free blog posts, top 100. And we just post those. And then when we get to 100, we go back to 1 again. And we just do that. And we post 1 a day. We'll post a blog post. We'll post a moving GIF video where it's a hitter and it's their swing. And I'll say, what is your opinion on this? So we get people to interact with it. I'll have what else do we do? We do some pitch posts. So we'll have like a product, we'll have we'll feature a hitting aid and we'll just rotate these ads as we go. And back in 2007,
So just quick, just to kind
Mhm.
of recap, you're posting once a day, just once a day, but you're going to rotate
Five
through your
times a day.
content. You're
Five
posting
times
5 times a day.
5 times a
Got it.
day. Yep, yep.
All
So
right.
we'll start from like 4 and we'll end at 8, 4 PM. And
And but there are, of those 5, there are 5 topic areas that you've picked, and
right.
you're dropping those, and you're using a scheduler, I'm assuming, or are you
Yep.
posting natively?
Hootsuite. Hootsuite. Yeah.
Okay. So
Yep.
you're posting, you just hit those topics. And while this topic is going to be hit every day, it may be here today, but tomorrow it may show up over here. So are you shuffling, or you just rotate through, just
Yeah. So
cycle?
typically a 60 to 90-day schedule where you take the blog post today, and then they won't see it again for another maybe 90 days.
Got it.
So that's typically what it is. Now, I have a website where we have 360 posts, so I can afford to do that. Some people don't. They have 100. Well, even if they have 100, they can recycle that. But if you're putting
Right.
the same post on Monday, and then next week it's the same post on Tuesday, and then if it's every week, people kind of get a little bored of that.
Right.
Yeah.
Absolutely. How many followers are on your Facebook page now?
So right now, I think it's around 34 to 36,000, I think is what it was. And that was about where it started to wane a little bit.
Okay.
So we were,
So you've got 36,000 followers, followers of your
Mhm.
Facebook page. How much engagement do your posts get today?
So depending on the post, if it's the top 10 or top 20 blog post, I get quite a bit. I get the ones that are the videos, the looping video of some hitter's swing. It could be Babe Ruth, it could be Mike Trout, it could be a present guy or a past guy. Those ones tend to get pretty good traction. And remember, this is baseball and softball season, right? So the problem with it's a blessing and a curse in this industry because you have a certain time period. So you have February is about where things start to tick up, and then June is about where they start to tick down. So you have this flow like
Oh,
this,
okay.
and the peak is around April because you're getting your high school start in January, their games start in February, so they start practice in January, games start in about February, and then your
Got
little
it.
league starts in March, and that's where the bulk of everybody comes in. So that's where you're going to get a ton of comments and traction and things like that when it comes to engagement. But we just came out of the off season, and you don't get a lot of engagement during that. You get some, but it's usually only the all year rounders and the ones that are playing travel ball all year round.
Got it. All right. So here you got all these followers, and you just start to see the organic reach. You're just not reaching as many people. Now, it sounds like you're still seeing it worthwhile because you've got
Mhm.
36,000 followers. And so you could get 100 to 200 engagements on a post, but was it 10 times better? Was it 5 times better? What was the difference from
Yeah, I would
before?
say 5, 10 times better. I mean, not even the reach.
Wow.
The reach is somewhat there, as people are still looking at the post, and anytime somebody looks at it, then it's recommended to their friends, and so that
Right.
spiders out. It's more of the gaining in followers, I guess, is more of what I'm
Okay. All
getting
right.
to. So when it was really hot, then the followers were. I mean, I was getting hundreds a week, hundreds. And
And,
organically. I mean, I was running ads too, so you're getting a little bit wind of that. And as soon as the ads go down, that pay to play platform, which became a little bit more of the norm now. So if you want to get that same where you're getting people that are following your page, you have to pay. It's pay to play. Like it's
okay.
on Facebook, at
Yeah.
least it's completely that way. Some other platforms like TikTok and Instagram a little bit, although they became part of Facebook, so they're not quite as
Right.
growing. But
Yep.
a lot of times in the beginning, these platforms come on the scene and they've taken all the restrictions off. So
Yeah.
it's
Absolutely.
anytime anybody sees anything, boom, it gets pushed out. Whereas Facebook, they've suppressed more of the stuff so that you have to pay for it in order to get the benefit of it.
Okay. This is good. Great transition. Let's talk about paying for it.
Mhm.
And one of the things that I think is a great question is, number one, is it worth paying for ads on Facebook?
Good question, Mark. And it is. The only time it's not is if you don't have some sort of a sales funnel that's set up. So a company
Oh, okay.
that's just sending their traffic to their website, and that
Yeah.
could be a e-commerce website where you have a bunch of products on there and all that. You can do that. The only thing is you have to have either email captures in place, or And an email capture for e-commerce could be just you're giving a discount code. It could be a 25% off. Get 25% off your first purchase here, where that's like a pop-up that starts right when they land on the page to get that email.
Got it.
Or you can have a pixel code, a Facebook pixel code for those out there that know what that is. Those that don't, it's just a little piece of code you get from Facebook when you create a business manager account, and you get that little pixel code, you install it on your site. And then now what happens when people hit your site, that code puts a cookie on their computer, which that has even changed in the last like 6 months to a year, because Facebook's been fighting with Apple. So there's this privacy concerns. We used to be able to pixel people for like 180 days. And now I think it's like 21 days. I'm not as up to date on that now, but I think you can only pixel people for a week or 21 days or whatever it is. So you can't pixel out for 180. So the benefit though of the pixel. So one thing, you want to make sure you're getting emails. So if you're e-commerce store and you're offering a discount code for their email address, then that's one thing, you get their email. And the second thing is the Facebook pixel, which now I can take that, and on Facebook, I can convert that after it seasons a little bit, gets about 100 users is about what it is. It used to be 1,000, but if you can get about 100 users that hit that pixel, fire off that pixel, now you can create a lookalike audience. And the lookalike audience, Facebook goes into its billions of followers, takes those 100 users, looks at their email, their likes, where they're going around and searching and looking on different sites. And it will take another maybe 1 million to 2 million people that look just like that person, and it will offer your ad to those people. And what happens to your cost per lead on that is when things were really hot, maybe when I had an ad that was starting to wane a little bit, and I was getting a quarter per email. Like it was only costing me a quarter per email, which is super low.
Yeah.
And it would start to tick up to about $1 an email. If I did a new lookalike audience, took another 100 emails or something, fed it into the Facebook system, and then it would create a lookalike, it would drop my dollar back down to about 50 cents with that lookalike audience. So lookalike audience is huge. The problem now is that Facebook, in order to, you have to optimize your ad. It's even more important now to optimize your ad. So not only do you need to have some sort of a funnel set up, and of course, the e-commerce store that offers the discount, you get the email. Well, you got to have a back end follow-up email system that is selling that person. Either they're warming them up to your system, to your company, indoctrinating them is what we call it, and then start to go in and pitch certain products or courses or services or whatever later, about a week into that. So that back end needs to be happening. But with the ad itself on Facebook, where I could set up four different ads, $5 a day, and I could run those ads for about a week, and I can get to the optimization level. So what's the optimized image to use, headline, description, and all that. I can get that. I could have gotten that later with a minimal amount of money, but now it's up to about $3,000. So you got to spend about $3,000. So if it's $1,000 a week for 3 weeks, $3,000, you'll get an optimized, you'll know what the image you need to use that's getting the most engagement. You'll know what the headline, the description, if you're using video versus image. So now the pay to play is a lot higher. So it's harder for smaller businesses that are, in the 5 to maybe early 6 figures to be able to do that, to be able to spend that kind of money.
Right.
Basically throwaway money in order to optimize the ad. And then we got to optimize the sales funnel.
Right. Okay. And so, and all of these things are extremely important. And and we may not get to sales funnels because I think we're going to run out of time because I want to stay here.
Sure.
So why $3,000? Why can't I do this on a budget of $250 a week? Are you saying you just don't really get enough of a sample to make the decisions that are going to be profitable if you're not hitting those larger numbers?
That's right. So it's all about data set and getting the biggest data set that's going to give you that 98 or 99% confidence rate of that image is the image or video is the video, or that headline is the headline that is driving the more of that engagement and that traffic to your site.
Got it. All right. So 3 weeks, we're spending $3,000. We've now figured out what people most engage with. And so we're going to flip that. And we're spending another $3,000 just focused on that one ad.
That one optimized ad. Yeah. Now you can start unloading putting more money into that. And then you can also create other ads, little derivatives to help improve on that. And then a lot of it from there, once you have the optimized ads, then you can start to optimize you got that isolated variable, right? Now that's
Right.
isolated. You know that
Right.
that's optimized. Now it's going into that sales funnel and optimizing whether it's the emails that you're sending, or there's always some sort of split A/B testing that needs to be going on. If it's copy, it could be ad copy. You could be tweaking. It could be, if you're sending them to a sales page, it could be the sales copy that you're tweaking. It could be like I said, the emails, any of that. And it's a process, and it takes, the more money you have to spend, the faster you get that optimization going.
Is it worth it?
It is. It depends on the market. So the hitting softball, baseball, softball hitting market is, because of the seasonality of it, it's such a short market that it's tougher there. But those that are in finance, or those that are in health and fitness, those that are in those big markets that are, big blue oceans, but there's little segments of those where people say golf. Golf is a big one where you have kids that are 8, 9 years old that are doing it, but you also got adults that are 80 years old that are doing it. So you have a big, broad market, but in that market, they spend a lot of money. They spend a lot of money on golf clubs, on country club fees.
So that's the big thing, I think, is that if you're going to spend this money, you have to have the products to go with. There's probably got to be a minimum value per lifetime value of a customer or a client, whatever that may be.
Mm-hmm.
So if the lifetime value is $20 and you're spending $3,000 over 3 weeks, then okay, if it's $20, then you now know I got to get X number to buy, right? And what do you typically tell your clients? What's the multiplier? If you're going to spend $3K, well, in this case, let's say 6 weeks, right? So you're going to spend $1,000 a week. So if I'm going to spend $6,000 over 6 weeks, what do you say? Okay, we should be able to generate X revenue to make this worthwhile. How do you multiply that out?
Yeah. So the big question is, so it's kind of the whole system. So you have 3 things that make a business, at least long lasting. And you're talking about LTV, right? Your lifetime value of the customer. And so what you're looking for is, you want more sales.
Right.
So you want more sales just in general of all customers. And then if we're talking about one customer, we want a higher sale, how much they're buying. So $20 versus $120 on upsells. And then you want repeat. You want that one person to repeat sale after that. So toilet paper, right? For instance, you can have either you sell multiple rolls, whereas you make more money selling a 24-pack roll than selling each roll one by itself, one off, right?
Right.
Then you got people coming back and they're buying more because they have to, they need it. And then there's things that you can upsell where you can say, well, look at the even better example is the shaving business, the Dollar Shave Club, right? They're selling a razor for $1, right? But it's not the razor that they're making money on. It's the McDonald's thing, the upsell your Big Mac, right? So it's the shave cream, it's the razor holder, it's the beard conditioner. It's all those extras that are the upsells. And then because those blades are going to go bad, well, you got that customer coming back and buying more. So that's part of the deal. That has to factor into these ads on how much money we're going to be spending on Facebook, or it doesn't make any sense. If we're just trying to sell a one-off product, the ads don't make sense at all. You're going to end up, unless you're selling a $10,000 course or something where it's high ticket, it doesn't really make sense if you're selling a $20 widget.
So this is really good for e-commerce kind of sites that are they're looking for that customer that can come back again and again and again and buy.
Sure. Yeah. I mean, it's good for everybody. It just depends on the sales funnel, because you can have a content, right? A courses, you can do that kind of thing. But e-commerce, I spent about a year going back into e-commerce, going through a program, trying to relearn that because it was a little different. I was used to getting the email, setting up the email systems in the back end to upsell and to pitch and things like that. But I didn't understand how the e-commerce side worked. And really the e-commerce side, the only difference is you can offer a white paper or PDF or whatever. But most of the people for e-commerce want that 25% off first sale, first buy. So that's how you would get email in that sense.
Yeah, if I bite on a product that I think is interesting, but I think I'm getting a good deal on the product that I'm already interested in, I'm more likely you're reducing my barrier. But I got to be interested first. So you gotta get me to start off with.
Yep.
All right, Joey, this is awesome. We are out of time, and your wife is in the other room on her Zoom. So we probably, it's probably good to try to end before her shows up.
That's her.
What?
Yeah, it's her right there.
She's
watching.
He's pointing up on his shoulder, by the way.
She's watching. Yeah.
She's keeping an eye on
podcast.
Well, this is awesome. And thank you for sharing a lot of that data that you just did, because it does help. There's a lot of smoke and mirrors. I always say this in digital marketing, and you went through in great detail on how people can understand Facebook ads and organic reach and why things have changed. Who are you looking for? What type of people do you help? What are the industries that you're most interested, that you're very successful with?
Yeah. So and let me finish one last tip on the email thing. I think that's pretty important. Pretty quick tip, and it's that you're making sure you're getting the right emails. And I made this mistake for a lot of my emails. I've gotten over 100,000, but my account shows 34, 35, 36,000 because you have some that unsubscribe, and then you have a ton of bad ones. And the reason why was because when I would say how to increase your batted ball distance by X number of feet, give me your email. They give me the email. Well, I was popping up a page that would give them that actual video, to give them video, the how-to video. So you could put in Mickey Mouse at gmail.com and you'd get the video, right?
Got it.
So make sure that you're putting the actual video that you're giving them in the email. So they have to put in their email first, and they have to get it emailed to them, right? So that's just a one quick tip that I think people out there would appreciate.
Put the content in the email, not on the website.
Yeah, so they have to give you the email, and they have to get emailed the actual video itself. So
that way you verify the emails.
And some out there will go, well, of course, but you know what?
Well, I love that. That sort of tip is great. So where do you want people to find? And I do want you to say, you do the best work with whatever industries, and then tell them what website do you want them to go to track you down?
Sure. Yeah. So we're working with 6, 7, and 8-figure businesses. And I think Mark mentioned a few of them. So the real estate industry, whether that's investors, brokers, or just companies in general, roofers, a lot of the service trades, the HVAC, the air conditioning, plumbing, all that kind of stuff. And anybody who's in that space that is looking to get on that first page of Google and compete with a lot of their competitors, we can do both the local side and the general side. I have my own websites that I deal in both of those, both local and in the broad strokes of things. So, but people can find me at Lead Generation SEO Services.com. And that's where Mark was saying that you can get your free site audit, no hassle. You don't have to contact anybody. You just put your information in there and it'll send out that evaluation. And if you want to set up a free consultation, we can go over that report. We can see what we can fix. That's low hanging fruit real quick. And we'd love to do that for you. So you just reach out and just let us know you want that, and we'll go from there.
Oh, that's awesome. All right. Well, Joey, thank you for such great information. This is the kind of thing that we like to do here on How's Your ePresence, is really get into the nitty gritty and let people know how they can do things a little better. And this was great content. Hang out. We do a little post show chat. So don't go away. And the only reason I bring that up is every time I forget to say that, people bug out. So hang out for just a little bit. But thanks for being here. I do appreciate it. And that was great content. Thanks a ton.
And thank you for your time, Mark. Thanks for making some time for me.
You bet. My pleasure. And folks, we love that you're here. This is what we want to do. We always get thrilled when we know we've provided really great value to you. Joey just shared some great content, and I think that you'll be able to come back and listen to this when you're trying to maybe evaluate your current provider, or if you want to give him a call. Sounds like he can help you out with a lot of that same content, especially when it comes to that ad generation. So what do we do at ePresence? We're a full service social media agency. So we manage personal and company social media. We can help running those ads that he was talking about, or we can help you on your personal LinkedIn page, get it up to speed and get it active because it's really good for you. If you don't want somebody to do it for you, that's great. We can show you how to do it through our consulting and training services. If you are interested in any of that, you can get a 5% discount on all of our services just by being a listener of this show. And you can go right to the website e-pr.me/listener, and you can join right there. Hit us up there, and we'll give you a 5% discount on all of our services. So How's Your ePresence is everywhere. You can find us on YouTube, LinkedIn, Twitter, and Facebook. Wherever you're watching, hit that follow button. That way you'll make sure you know when we go live, and you can ask questions of our guests. If you're a podcast listener, just go to our website, and it's ePresence.me. ePresence.me/podcast is the site where you can see all the places that we're dropping our podcast. So go check that out. Our producer is Morgan Wood. We always love the work that Morgan does for us. Until next time, for my guest, Joey Myers, I'm Mark Galvin. Thank you for watching How's Your ePresence?